sayyadi Abbas.
Hajiya.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to today's video, which is Hausa greetings and etiquette part 1. I'm here with the beautiful Maimuna, who is dressed in her Friday kaya. I think she looks a little bit like a Yoruba lady because this is traditionally, I think, a Yoruba lace. Wannan kayan Yoruba ne? Ko kayan Hausa? So she's dressed as a Yoruba girl today. I'm dressed as a Hausa girl, yes. But we're all Nigerian, so regardless, whoever you are, you're very welcome to join us today. And we are going to be teaching you a few simple Hausa greetings and etiquette. Okay, so the first thing, we're going to start with informal greetings. So the informal way of greeting, obviously in all languages you have formal and informal greetings. For example, in English you might say hi, which is informal to somebody you know, and you might be more formal perhaps with somebody you don't know and say something like good morning. So informal Hausa greetings, the first thing is when you are being informal, obviously you're going to be informal with people who you're familiar with, either your family, your friends, or people of the same age as you. In Hausa culture, it is a culture, it's an African culture that respects, I think all African culture respects seniority, and Hausa culture is no exception. You must respect your seniors, you must respect your elders, therefore you wouldn't use any of these greetings with people who are older than you unless perhaps you know them, they're family members or people that you know very well. So the first thing is, if you want to say hi to somebody, for example, if I want to say hi to Walida, I would just, it's very simple, all you have to do is just say her name. Now the important thing here is the intonation. So if I come in and I want to say hi, I would say Mimuna, and that's it. And she would say, she doesn't call me by my name, so obviously my name is Nafisa, she doesn't call me my name. What do you call me?
It's Nafisa.
Auntie Nafisa. So she would say Auntie Nafisa, but because I'm older than her, she will greet me in a formal way. But if she was my mate, I would say just her first name, and she would respond by just calling me my first name. Simply, if it's somebody who is kind of your mate or somebody you know, you just call them the first name. For example, you say Nafisa, but the important thing is the intonation. So obviously my name is Nafisa, but if you say Nafisa to somebody, your intonation doesn't really sound like a hello. So you would need to rise at the end of it. You'd need to say Nafisa, I would say Mimuna, or I would say Fatima, and that's the equivalent of hi in Hausa greeting. So you must raise your voice at the end of the person's name, whatever the person's name. Let's use, for example, an English name. If somebody's called Jessica, I wouldn't just say Jessica. That sounds a little bit serious. It's not too much of a hello. So I would say Jessica, and then she would know that I am greeting her like as a hello. So I'm just going to show you with somebody who is more my age, and we're just going to practice with that. So ya sayyadi Abbas.
Hajiya.
Ina gajiya?
Ya gida.
Okay, another way of an informal greeting, specifically if you are speaking to just generally a group of people, is Sannun. And this is just basically, it's actually neutral, it can be formal or informal, and you literally just, if you walk in and see a group of people or you're walking past, it's also very impolite to just walk past a group of people without saying something. Whether you know them or not, you should acknowledge people's presence. So by doing this, if it's a group of 2 or more people, you would just say Sannunku, and that's enough as a hello. Okay, so moving on to formal greetings. Now we have 2 types of formal greetings. Probably you guys may be familiar with. Obviously there is a good morning and a good afternoon and even a good evening. So let's begin with how to say good morning. So the way to say good morning in Hausa in a formal way is ina kwana. Okay, this is just widespread. It's very common across all of northern Nigeria, perhaps in other Hausa speaking countries, definitely in places like Niger, northern Cameroon, and all the other Hausa speaking places. Ina kwana is the formal way of saying good morning. However, even though it's formal, it can actually be used with people you know. It's something that you would say to your mother, it's something that you would say to your father, it's something that you would use to people that you know. Now, here is where it gets, we get a bit of cultural etiquette. If I say ina kwana to somebody who is my mate, it's absolutely fine for me to say it either sitting or standing. However, in Kano, like I said to you before, seniority is very important, respecting your elders. So somebody like Maimuna, for example, is obviously younger than me. So she cannot just say to me ina kwana standing. It's extremely discourteous, especially if you're from a good family, to show that you have a good upbringing. It's very important. You need to courtesy, whether you're a girl or a guy. You need to courtesy, and you need to bow down. Now, this doesn't contradict, or this doesn't conflict with the Islamic principles of sajda. So there is no position of salah that you repeat when you're greeting somebody, but it's extremely discourteous to greet somebody who's older than you by standing. So you do need to courtesy, and you need to bend down and greet a person by saying ina kwana. So Maimuna,
ina kwana.
Lafiya lo. So the response to that is Lafiya lo. Ina kwana just means good morning, and Lafiya lo means it's a response, and that just means fine. So literally ina kwana means how is the morning, like where is the morning, and then Lafiya lo, Lafiya means fine, so Lafiya lo means very well. Okay, so that's the first way of saying good morning. Now, another way of saying good morning is one which is used by the Kano royal family. People who are not from the royal family or don't have any royal affiliation are probably unaware or probably unfamiliar with this. But obviously my mother and my grandmother are from the royal family, and I was raised to, in fact, in my family it's very common. This is the most common method of greeting, more than ina kwana. In fact, some people are like, ina kwana is kind of a little bit colloquial. So anybody who has any royal affiliation or comes from the royal family, any of the emirate families, will be familiar with Barka asubah, and that means good morning. And the response to that, there's two responses. So the first response,
Barka asubah.
So I would say Barka kadail. One more time.
Barka asubah.
Barka kadail. Now, Barka kadail means Barka asubah means good morning, very formal. Barka kadail is just the simple response. The second response you can give to Barka asubah, and this is used especially in the Kano Emir's palace, is Muna Lafiya, but that response is a question that requires another response. So, Maimuna,
Barka asubah.
Muna Lafiya?
Lafiya.
Now she has replied, I've said, how are we? Because obviously we're using the royal we, because obviously that's how you do in Kano royal family. So my response is Muna Lafiya, and her response is Lafiya lo, which means fine. Okay, so moving on.